Are you a Harry Potter fan? Did you ever wish that you could have Harry Potter, but it makes no sense? Then boy do we have the game for you. Allow me to walk you through the story of Elementals, the Magic Key, where things can be alright at first, but regress into something incomprehensible later. So, without further ado, an undisclosed amount of time ago, an undisclosed amount of mages got together and created the land of Aeron. A faraway mystical land where magic is as normal as rainfall. They even went a step further and populated it with unique creatures known as elementals, representing water, fire, earth, air, energy and nature. They are powered by Iron's 3 moons. The mages also thought this would be a sweet place for the construction of a magic academy, where wizards to be learn the ins and outs of magic, and they are accompanied by familiars. The story follows Albert, a young wizard in training who is tomorrow's birthday boy. Fun, right? He has an elder sister named Lillian, who was chosen to be the keeper of the magical key. What is the magical key, I hear you asking? Why, it's the one artifact keeping everything from falling apart. Surely it won't end up in the wrong hands, and oh wait, I forgot this game needs to have a plot. Yeah. So turns out Lillian sucks at her job and Sibelius, a former student at the academy who had previously been expelled, got hold of the key and kidnapped Lily. The thing is, he sucks at magic and manages to ruin the key, scattering the elemental shards all over Aeron. Seems like Albert has a lot to do on his birthday, huh? Everything seems fine. Albert gets up in the morning and gets his fortune told, as he would any other day. The fortune seems odd, and it doesn't take long for Felion, Albert's floating head familiar, to come knocking in and basically filling him in on everything I've just explained. So, he packs his things and heads out, where he butts heads with the security golem. Battles are pretty much the main attraction of this game, but the impact they have on the lore is minimal, so they will be promptly saved for another time. Maybe. Albert uses common sense and decides to check the crime scene for any leads. He is somehow able to read Lily's diary, even though it looks like this. They then remember that Lily has a sentient mirror in her room, so they try to fix it in order to shine some light on the situation. In pursuit of the last piece, they try to talk to Sathi, Lily's familiar, and, can I just say I kind of feel bad for her. We got the best character in the game while she got stuck with whatever this thing is. Anyway, it clearly didn't take the disappearance of its master very well, and did we just kill it? Oh well, at least the last piece was in its cage. The mirror keeps the exposition I've already covered going, but also suggests going to the library. Our hero repairs the golem, and it opens the door to the library. He attempts to cast a spell, but screws it up and ends up destroying the Ladar, a contraption used to open portals all around the world. One assembling session later, and it's good as new. This is all great and all, but we still need to figure out where to go. This is where the aura scanner comes in. It uses elemental shards to determine where others could be located. And there was conveniently one already here. It points to the Great Forest. So it's time to head out. But the main door won't open because Lillian changed the code last night. Because of course she did. Anyway, we head outside and the weird obelisk-looking thing isn't working, because of course it's not. Just then, a friendly friend appears and advises Albert to insert the stones on the statues and the stone discs into the obelisk. Pure genius. After doing so, lo and behold, it works. Finally, we can get a move on. Well, this isn't what I was expecting to be greeted with. in order to avoid issues regarding one's moral compass by simply leaving this poor nature elemental behind, Albert makes it a healing potion which patches it right up. They then decide it's probably better to take it with them. So our hero fashions a basket to carry it in. The path to the forest master is blocked by a patch of vines that must first be dispelled. Alright, great. Now let's... Oh, hi. Call it a hunch. But I think this guy has been ransacking the forest and hurting the poor tree baby. At least Albert is here to teach him a lesson and we can finally go to the forest master. A little side note. But everyone kind of already knows who Albert is. I guess he is a bit of a sensation. Anyway, the forest master is very sad because his child is gone. But thankfully his child is the elemental Albert already happens to be carrying. As you can see, the resemblance is uncanny. He has another favor to ask before giving him the shard. That being dealing with a giant worm creature that gnaws at his roots. To lure it out, they need the armor of that one fire guy. And spores from the mushrooms of forgetfulness to create an illusion. Once that's over and done with, the forest master wants another favor. He wants our protagonist to fix his roots. And after that, he wants yet another favor. Needy much. This time, because he was an incompetent idiot, he shattered his glasses when the worm emerged. After making him new glasses, he finally rewards Albert the shard and he can leave. The shard points them to the cavern, so it's time to... You again. This guy wants us to play cards so he can open the portal. But I thought the Ladar was what opens the portals. Whatever, moving on. The cavern itself is blocked by this big earth elemental. And to add insult to injury, some of the rocks fell out of him. Nothing a little magic can't fix, though. As thanks for putting him back together, he attacks Albert. Well, the entrance to the cavern is cleared. This place is also the residence of the Lady of the Lake, whom Albert and Feli are seeking help from. They ring the gong and there she is. She wants help in recovering her clepsydra from some hunter of fire, in exchange for a shard. She gives them a box containing instructions on the ritual. And after filling out the constellation-looking things, it succeeds. After defeating Chef Fire, the pieces of the clepsydra are scattered around the outside of the cavern. Once put together, Albert presents it to the Lady of the Lake, and she gives him the shard as promised. This one points to the water house. There is no time to waste, let's. Are we seriously going to do this every time? I'm glad at least Albert agrees with me. The card minigame isn't even different. So the great river leading to the water house is all dried up because of some dam. Conveniently, there is a console on the left bank of the river. Although I fail to see why they can't cross the river like this. Alright, on the other side now and... Whoa! What a jump scare. Now, don't be fooled. This isn't the same guy from the forest, it's his twin brother. And he wants revenge. There's no time for this because we still have a dam problem, but Albert can't just lift the rocks. It is then that this weird golem thing offers to help. A ritual can be performed by drawing a circle on the ground, placing rocks in the middle in a similar formation to the dam, and using snowflies to lift them. After a puzzle, the golem gifts our hero a jar he can use to catch the flies. After gathering all the materials and doing everything the golem just said to do, it surprisingly works. Now the boat on the river can be used to reach the water house. That is, if it weren't broken. Before Albert could gather the planks and nails. This Earth Knight shows up and is disgusted that he would kill the fire guy. He definitely doesn't understand the concept of self-defense, so our hero knocks some sense into him. This guy is very overdramatic, so Albert has no choice but to play along and take him as prisoner. Now it's time to fix the boat with the help of the magic underwater hammers. The waterhouse has definitely seen better days though. Apparently the Lord's favorite stained glass portrait is broken and he is currently grieving. He's got his priorities straight. Anyway, the portrait is actually really easy to fix with magic, and the Lord finally decides to show himself. He would gladly give them the shard if they gave him the Earth Knight. I mean, he wasn't much use anyway. The next shard is in the Sky Castle, and what a surprise! It's Cardman again. You already get it by now. Play solitaire to get passage, yada yada. The mistress of the castle is missing and the little elementals are upset because their carousel broke. Obviously, we have no time for that because we are doing big people things. Okay, I am seriously fighting an actual door right now. This is the highlight of my week. The door finally realized that Albert is a human being, but can't open because the crystals in the slots around it are gone, and guess what? The elementals took one of them. So there's no going around fixing that carousel. Inside the castle, Albert reads a book that describes the elevator he could use to get to the top. And that also contains a message from none other than Lily. She is writing to let him know that she is kicking it in the Flame Temple and advises him to construct a pendulum that helps in battle. It's battle related, so we don't care about it, even if it's overpowered. Our protagonist fixes the elevator and ascends to the top where the mistress is being held captive. He opens the weird dome thing and fights the evil fireman. The mistress is a little weird. She foretells something about a great battle before proceeding to forget all about it. Probably not important. What is important is that she gives Albert the shard and we can go to the next destination. The Thunder Hills. Only 2 more areas left. Can you believe we're almost done? Yeah, I'm used to the routine by now. This time, however, Cardman is so salty that Albert keeps winning his brain-dead solitaire games that he decides he wants to get his hands dirty. Hopefully that means he's never coming back. Please, I beg. Just like every single other area in this game, there is an obstacle blocking progression to the next area. Albert needs to fix the console that activates the lightning rod to get rid of the wall up ahead. It's not really rocket science. The path to the dragon's lair is unblocked. But before going, they get jumped by a gang of bandits. Anyway, hey, remember him? He seems so paralyzed from fear that he can't even speak. Not that I wanted to hear his Shakespearean monologues again. The dragon's lair is a pitch-black labyrinth. Sir Albert constructs the wand of light to make traversing it a breeze. Alright. Fine. I guess we should probably hear Night Guy out. So it's time for another potion, a tranquilizer potion this time. He reveals that he was sent here by the Waterlord as an envoy to deliver a message. And he also gives Albert the map of the labyrinth. This important mission will unfortunately come at the expense of the dragon's nap time. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I was attacked because I woke someone up, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but did I mention how repetitive this game is? Once the dragon calms down, he's actually a pretty cool friend. In return for the last shard, he wants his treasure back because the bandits from earlier stole it. Using a high-tech device, Albert gathers the treasure and presents it to the dragon. But before leaving, he also hands him the message from the Waterlord. For some reason, he wants the dragon to give the knight a deck of cards, and the dragon decides to do it personally. It is then revealed that it is actually the knight that wanted them. What? Wait. No, 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 no. Not this again. Anything but this. How does this even make sense? Am I to believe he was the knight this whole time? You know what? Interpret that how you will. We only have a bit more until we're done anyway. Cardman opens the last portal that leads directly to the Flame Temple, no intermission required. Finally, the Flame Temple is here. All that stands in the way is this stupid gear puzzle to open the gate. But after all those trials and tribulations, we finally see our main antagonist in a dramatic entrance. And then he just proceeds to summon lackeys in and not fight himself. That's one way to handle your final boss for sure. Unsurprisingly, he fled while Albert was fighting, but dropped a tablet that can be inserted in the notch in the center. After solving a puzzle, it displays the order in which the shards of the Great Key are to be placed on the pedestals. After getting the order right, the pagoda-looking thing in the center rises and displays 6 keyholes. After using the keys branded with each elemental, a portal is revealed and Lily steps out of it. And this is where things get weird. Albert's number 1 wish is to be the keeper of the key, and his sister knew that. So, she convinced the archmages to pass that role to him. But to prove that he is worthy, she set up this entire adventure as a test. So let me get this straight. She not only managed to get the help of someone who was previously expelled from the academy, but also put her brother through multiple near-death experiences and risked the end of the world by destroying the very artifact keeping it together. Actually, what is wrong with you? I think we all know who the real villain is in this story. Anyway, yay, birthday celebrations. There is a scene at the end where Cardman hints at a potential sequel. But it's been almost 15 years, so you can stop waiting. Roll credits. That was a lot to say the least. Hopefully you got at least part of what I just tried to explain. Definitely not the most straightforward story I've had to narrate. Its repetitive nature and weirdly one-note characters definitely weren't doing it any favors. The game relies a bit too much on its innovative battle system, which is inconsequential here when we're trying to understand the story and we already know Albert wins every battle. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to go shut off my brain because I can feel it turning to jello. Bye.